There we go.
Excellent. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Geek Buys number 38, a podcast by a few geeks just trying to be heard in a world now flooded with geeks. This is John Guzman, aka Lockhart, your host. My claim to fame in the geek world is being actually not playing World of Warcraft as much anymore, so I think I'm going to have to find a new tagline. However, I'm a huge video geek nerd, and I guess that's kind of what I'm supposed to be doing in this podcast, along with being a crappy host. And with me, I have my two other amazing co-hosts, Mr. Morph, the bartender for the zombie apocalypse. How are you tonight, sir?
Good. I'm very good.
Are you drinking?
I've got a cup with water in it.
Well, there you go.
I went on my wife and I took the kids and went on a 2-mile bike ride after dinner, so I figure I need to rehydrate with water instead of beer this time.
That's awesome. Good for you, sir. Good for you. We're gonna be healthy geeks.
No.
Not if I can help it.
I was just say, don't confuse anybody with that comment.
Oh God, you guys are horrible.
I'm
And the third corner of this awesome triangle of awesomeness, Mr. Kib, a man boldly going from the couch to the kitchen and back again. How are you, Buddha Bear?
I'm fine.
Oh
Just
God,
got back
you sound
from
excited.
gaming and doing good.
How was gaming tonight?
It was good. I played Seven Wonders. Hadn't ever played Seven Wonders before, so
I've
Is
heard of the game.
I was gonna say that sounds familiar. Is that one you own?
no.
Is
I
that
do
one
not
you
own
told
that.
me about?
Perhaps. I'll have to qualify. This is the first time I've played the game all the way through. I went to a gaming meetup at a bar once, and we tried to play it, and we got about halfway done. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on, and we scrapped it.
Are you drinking? Because you already dropped an F-bomb.
I'm just drinking water. Water!
No shit.
No shit.
Yeah, this is gonna be like one of the first non-alcoholic podcasts in like ever. Because I'm not drinking anything. I could drink, but I don't want to.
I think this
I've got plenty of whiskey. I just didn't pour any.
Yeah,
I
no,
said
I'm gonna be. By the time this actually gets posted, I'll probably be back in town. But if anybody's listening right now, I will be out of town. I don't know if I want to say that. I said it live. Oh well, fuck it.
somebody's gonna come after your house.
No, not with the security system that I got and all the cops that live around my neighborhood.
I'm gonna
That are-
TP your house while you're gone.
They taught the cat how to use a weapon.
I did. Actually, that's one of the topics that I want to talk about today because, a lot of
That
geeks
article
love their
has
cats.
nothing to do with cats using weapons, though.
Yes, it does. The cat is a weapon. I
Okay.
think it's very interesting, and I think it fits in with what we're talking about because, we are geeks.
Yes.
It's like
And,
trying on my face.
This is kind of amazing. Actually, how do I actually let me just somebody else is drawing. Okay. Oh, he took it off. I was actually gonna put whiskers on him.
Make him a cat.
It's gonna make
That's
him a cat.
awesome.
Yeah, for those of you guys that are, being lost by what we're talking about right now, Kip, our producer, since we do record this on Google Hangouts, and you can actually use little apps, he let us use a little draw app, but then he took it away. It's like, it's unfair. He gives us toys and then he takes them away, so.
It's part of my interrogation techniques. I will be breaking you guys one
I
app
have a-
taken away at a time.
I have a story about that actually has to do with video games.
Were you interrogated at one time?
Yes, I was. Let me tell you the story because this is actually very creepy and interesting at the same time. So, for a while during the beginning of this expansion, we toyed with the idea of merging with another group of people, merging with another guild, so that we could do, 25 mans or something. But anyway, so basically we had this kid that continued to like pug with our group, so he would come and do the raids with us, and we liked the kid. And then he started asking if he could bring other people. Eventually, they needed a raid leader in that other guild, and they asked me to lead a couple of raids there. And one of the people that raided there was a very interesting fellow. He was older, probably a little bit older than we are, and he asked me to. He was asking me questions, and then we started talking with the guild leader of that other guild about merging, and then the dude is just asking really weird questions, and then so I started asking him questions, like what do you do for a living, blah blah blah. And he used to work in law enforcement. Not only in law enforcement, but he used to be the person that ran the lie detector thing. And this dude, creepy as hell, like he ran the software that you run for like telephone communications, where it detects if people are lying or not. He like would run that the whole time over the voice chat that we used online. So like he was constantly always monitoring everybody. Creepy shit as ever. So one day I just like came out and flat out because he was like bringing up a conversation that we had before, and then he's like, well, do you mind if I do a lie detector on you? And I'm like, no dude, go ahead, especially because it was around the time, and he started like asking me control questions and everything. It's creepy as hell, dude. There are actual people online that are using like software to detect to lie detect for video games. Like, how creepy is that?
That's just dumb.
That is dumb.
It's just dumb. It's not even creepy. It's just dumb. Because what are they going to gain from it? I'm never going to meet you in person because I don't like you. So
you don't like me? You already know me in person.
I mean, well, I'm not talking about you guys and you guys specifically. More just people that I'm running into playing video games online. I mean, if I liked them, I probably would have already. If I wanted to meet them in person, then I would run into them doing something else. Like I don't know. I don't go hunting out for people that I play video games with, trying to find out where they live, and so I could go hang out with them. That just seems weird.
Well, I've never like gone and seek people out, but I just happen to meet a lot of them because I go to the conventions and stuff.
Yeah, maybe
so I've actually met a lot of people that I've actually played video games with. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that I would eventually run into this dude, but I haven't seen him in a long time. And then when the whole thing fell through and we actually didn't, like end up uniting with that group, I kind of removed them from my friend list and didn't like talk to him again because it was just creepy to me.
Yes.
Not that I have anything to hide, but just to know that someone is always running like software to detect and kind of deceit. I detected a high probability of deceit when you said this. And I'm like, well, no, it wasn't deceit. It was just that I think you guys suck at the game.
I'm just trying to be nice here.
Really, really creepy story, in my opinion.
I agree.
But anyway, so anybody watch anything interesting lately?
No.
Really? Nothing? Nothing in the entertainment world at all?
Well, nothing that I haven't talked about already. I'm finally finishing up the first season of Turn. I got a couple episodes left, but I watched a couple last night. And those are still really good. I really enjoy that show.
I hope it comes back. Engaged?
I hope it comes back for a second season.
I lost all faith. I lost all freaking faith after they killed all those humans.
What? What killed all what humans? What are you talking about?
Almost Human. They killed the show.
Oh, Almost Human. I thought you were talking about Turn, and they killed all the humans. I'm like, what are you talking about?
That's what I thought he said, too.
Like,
we don't need alcohol to not communicate.
It's during the Civil War. What are you... I mean, I'm confused here. Yeah. No, I understand that. And I completely agree. I wish they wouldn't have canceled that show. But I haven't... it's also, we're hitting those summer months where there's really not a whole lot of new TV on there. So,
No, but Longmire came back for the summer, which I really enjoy that show. So I got that going for me.
You say it with such enthusiasm.
well, he should. I don't know.
That's right. The most exciting thing in my life is what I'm watching on TV.
The only thing that I am watching on TV right now that I don't normally watch is the World Cup. Because you don't.
God.
We're going to talk about Real Housewives.
Yes, because everyone should be watching the Real Housewives.
Nobody should be watching the Real Housewives.
No.
Isn't there like several versions of it? Like just not one set of Real Housewives, but like all kinds of Real Housewives?
Well, there's all sorts of different places, but not one Real Housewife on any of the shows.
Yes, that is true. There's Orange County and there's Atlanta.
And they're New York or some shit.
Probably.
No, I think it's New Jersey.
No, that isn't that the other show. What's the show on MTV? Jersey Shore.
No, but I think there's a set of housewives. What the fuck are we talking about this again?
I don't know.
It's
You brought it up.
I did? I did not bring this up. You can blame this shit on me. We're talking about something else.
I was talking about the World Cup and watching the World Cup.
I was trying to remember what movie I watched last. Because I just watched something and I really liked it and I can't remember what it is.
Was it
the Transformers?
No, it wasn't.
Doesn't that come out tomorrow or this weekend?
No, it came out already.
Or was that last? Oh, okay.
It was last weekend.
It's out and people hit. Oh, you know what I just watched? It was actually really good. 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, I've heard that was good.
I've heard it's really good.
It is a really good movie. I mean, obviously, you know, white guilt for sure. But I actually read an article that is pretty interesting. I might actually write something like actually sit down and write an actual blog post about this. But there is actually like people that get pissed off about those movies because they say that there's this phenomenon called the white savior. So like the white people come and save the black guy, or you know, and there's like a whole bunch of list of different movies that are accused of being, you know, white savior movies. Like even Avatar is in that list that like, oh, the white people gotta come and save the people. So it's actually pretty interesting. I might actually investigate a little more, read up a little more, and actually write about it.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what you say.
But yeah, no, I got to do more research before I just spout some, you know, nonsense, which is what I say for here.
Research, bah. Just make it all up.
I just make shit up.
That's all right.
This has been actually a very interesting week. There's been a couple of very enlightening moments for me. And one of them came, and it actually had to do with race as well. I was listening to NPR, as I do sometimes, and there's a new race-related project that NPR is doing. It's like a series or something. And the one that they were reviewing this time is this older lady was telling a story about you're supposed to describe yourself in 5 words, and 2 of the words were invitation to a hanging. It used to be that back in the day they used to like create invitations, almost like a wedding invitations, when there was going to be a hanging. And in this hanging, it was, you know, 3 African American dudes, 3 black guys were going to be hanged because I think it was a murder. And, you know, obviously it was like back in the 20s or something like that. It was way, way, way back. And obviously there's tons of stuff. But the interesting part of it is that one of the things in her mind that changed is that her grandpa was the one that actually attended the hanging, and he held public office, so he actually had to go to the hanging. But so he gave her the invitation, and it's a pretty interesting little document, and it actually has pictures of the guys, and the pictures are very I don't want to say haunting pictures, but very, very like good pictures for that time. And the lady, when she's recalling it, when she's opening the envelope, she hasn't opened it in a while, and she's just like, kind of doing it during the interview. She reacts to the pictures again, and she kind of says to herself like stupid, stupid, or whatever. And kind of the way that they explain it is that when she was a little girl and she first saw the pictures, like for the first time, she was trying to like make these people to be very threatening, like, oh, these people kill somebody. But then when she looked at him again, and she's gone through a whole her whole life, she's had kids, she's had a life, now she looks at these pictures like, what, these are human beings, and she probably has the filter now of what she believes of the death penalty, and obviously a hanging is a brutal thing. And it was just very interesting. And some of the conclusion or some of the commentary that they were making about it is that why would a grandpa give this to I think she was like a 9-year-old when she got it. And when she asked them like a bunch of questions about it when she was a little girl, the only thing he said, it was an awful thing. And she said something, or the commentator said something that really impacted me, which is that maybe he did that so that she would understand that there are some things in life that you should be uncomfortable with, which is a very interesting thought. And that kind of stuck in my head today, that there are things that should make you uncomfortable. And it kind of goes with the same in the same sense of watching 12 Years a Slave or some content like that is very strong, that it should make you uncomfortable, and you should have things that make you uncomfortable, because in this society where we have access to like so much information and so much stuff, it is really easy to get desensitized, but there are things that should still make you very uncomfortable. And I think that is a very important part of just learning, growing up society, that what, there are things that are not pretty, are not good, and they're going to leave a mark on you. What do you guys think?
Things make me uncomfortable every day, at least Monday through Friday.
God. Here I am trying to like have a fucking deep discussion, and you guys just don't even pick up on it.
Yeah, okay, look, you want to get serious? I totally agree with that, because like tonight I was driving home from the gaming, and they were talking about a story that the University of Utah is changing some of the lyrics to their school's fight song because it says co-ed, and they thought that was too sexist. And I'm thinking, we are just too fucking sensitive in this goddamn country, and this, maybe people being uncomfortable will toughen us up a little bit.
I think it's true, and I think that we have tried to make everything so comfortable, and I think that part of not that you have to be uncomfortable and that's what needs to happen, but you have to be able to express that discomfort in one way or another. And it's not like you have to experience it like, I would just not want to be around people that are waving like, the Confederate flag and freaking flying swastikas or whatever. That would make me uncomfortable, and in a lot of different ways. But I think that there has to be some level of discomfort, and not everything has to be childproof and pink and flowers, and and not that I'm trying to be sexist or anything, but that's the thing. Every single time I talk now, I kind of have to think through all of those filters, because I'm not sexist. I think that women have the same opportunity to be good at all the things that guys can do. I mean, they're definitely, and the last bastion of that is that, I thought, from the physical ability and stuff, like, there is a ton of chicks that are way stronger than I am. So even that is not even relevant in a lot of ways. So, but now you always have to think of that filter, and there's a ton of people, and I think the ones that bother me the most are the ones that take it to the extreme, and you should be able to express yourself, and you should be able to say stupid shit once in a while that makes other people uncomfortable. However, there's got to be some lines too, and I think we're definitely on the wrong side of being too politically correct.
Yeah. And I always say this, and I totally believe it, and that is, being offended is a choice. If something I say offends you, you probably chose to be offended by it. Because people say shit all the time, and you can just ignore it.
Well, what about this though? I mean, the guy that does Men versus Food, I think he's Adam Richardson or something.
Adam Richman.
or Richmond. There you go. He got in trouble this week because he lost a ton of weight, and he posted a picture on Instagram, and he hashtagged it with the word "thinspiration," which is thin plus inspiration, and he was just saying, like, oh, I've lost a bunch of weight or whatever. Now I'm gonna have to take this new suit that I just bought. I'm gonna have to take it in, which is, he was just trying to be positive about himself, and then. Obviously he did not know what that hashtag meant, because I guess it's used by the people that are actually like proponents of bulimia and anorexia as a positive thing, and that being thin is better than being fat, or whatever the hashtag means. But obviously he didn't mean it that way. So of course he starts getting a whole bunch of people saying like, hey, I'm offended by this, you should not have said that. And the dude just goes off the rails and starts, like just arguing with people online. To the point that he's even telling people, yeah, the point that he's even telling people like you should go draw a bath and take a bath with a razor blade or some shit, and it's like, whoa, like that's taking it a little too far.
Well,
it is, but being offended by a hashtag is pretty ridiculous. You have to admit it.
Yeah,
I mean, somebody could put a hashtag Hail Hitler. I'm not going to be offended by it. I'm just going to think this guy's a moron, and I'm going to move on.
Well, no, but there is a responsibility that comes with being, like, for example, you're making money from people watching your show, which makes you a public figure. And it's a double-edged sword, because it's not just him. I'm pretty sure there are other people that work on his show, writers and whatever. So the shit that he says doesn't just affect him. It affects other people. And sure, people should not be offended with, using a hashtag. But if somebody comes up and says, hey, you used a shitty, hashtag for what you're trying to say, and it's wrong, the guy should be like, you know what, that's not what I meant, and, I'm sorry, and miscommunication, and thing done, not you guys should all die because you're stupid.
Well, okay, now here's my question, though. Do you think somebody actually responded to him in an intelligent fashion, or
Yes.
were they just railing on him for using it, and how the fuck is he supposed to know it's used by bulimics, because he's not a bulimic? That's the thing that bugs me. How many hashtags? No,
don't
how
use
many
technology
hashtags?
you don't understand. Don't use technology.
How
And
many
don't make up
hashtags?
fucking words. Do not make up fucking words. Why couldn't he just say inspiration or whatever? He fucking made up a word himself, and it just so happens that other people have used the same shit.
And that's the thing. We all make up words. I make up words
We
every
make up words
fucking
in this
day.
podcast all the fucking time, but nobody listens to us.
Oh, by the way, every word we use has been made up.
You know what I mean. We had this discussion before.
I do know what you mean. But
Yeah, I get
I also understand the response that he has, being fed
you
up with.
don't, dude. You
No,
have to have a fucking filter. If you're making money off of
agree.
the public, you gotta have a fucking filter. It's your responsibility.
Time out. Let me finish my sentence.
Okay, go.
Or my thought. Okay, I agree that he should not have said those things, but I also understand the frustration that he probably felt that caused him to lash out, because nobody on the internet is polite, and Twitter is the first place that people are going to be pissy and moany about it. They throw shit in your face. There's a reason why I stopped going to forums. There's a reason why I stopped looking at comments on stuff. No, it's because people are assholes on the internet.
They
Never
are.
read the comments. Never read the comments.
Exactly.
They're keyboard jockeys, dude.
Now that Twitter has become as popular as it is, that is the first place people go. To be an asshole, they go to Twitter. And they go and they bash you and rail on you for something you had no... he shouldn't have been criticized and ridiculed for saying thinspiration, for putting a hashtag on something. Because,
in my opinion, he should have.
No, he shouldn't have.
Dude, I would have some respect for him if he would have just lashed out and argue with people in a somewhat civilized manner, like, you know,
Fair enough.
just argue in a civilized manner, but don't tell somebody to go kill themselves.
No, I would have had more respect for him if he would have just wrote back, "Fuck off, fatty."
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, just
Completely.
be as offensive as they're, you know, as they're being to you. And I'm pretty sure that he was getting trolled hardcore.
Oh yeah.
But you know, you're a public figure. You are somebody that is making money by advertisers paying your shit and people watching your show. And you know, I wasn't a fan, but I watched his show once in a while, and I'm not gonna watch his shit anymore.
Was his Twitter handle the show, or was it his personal Twitter handle?
I don't give a shit, and that's the thing that people cannot hide behind anymore.
Because you know what? His brand, though.
It is his brand.
Exactly, but
you have a personal brand. If my bosses were to come and listen to the podcast, they know who I am, they know how I am, they know my personality, and I don't hide anything from them, and they know. And you know what? If some shit comes out of me talking in this podcast that has something to do with my work, I would have to be responsible for it. It would just be the way that it is.
And the last time I checked, him losing weight is not part of his show.
Yes, it is.
The
dude makes a lie. The dude made himself, you know, famous by, like, you know, consuming outrageous amounts of food.
Yep.
And he had to, like, and the dude just to stay normally, because he could have ballooned to, like, even greater proportions. He got really into working out, and he used to, you know, give interviews about it and shit. And I respected it. I thought it was fun that, you know, the dude would just eat whatever and then work out. And if he lost all that weight, great for him. I was, you know, actually happy that, you know, he was looking good and happy, and he was going to get another, you know, he was doing another show that was not about overeating, you know, but it was more about, like, you know, finding places or whatever. And his new show got canceled because of this shit, or taken off the air, or whatever. The dude made the mistake of telling other people, go kill yourself and blah, blah, blah. He crossed the line. And
that was poor judgment on his part.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. I don't disagree that you should be able to say whatever the hell you want, but you got to be, you know, at least, you know, held responsible or held accountable for what you say. And you know what? I swear on my podcast, and I say stupid shit on the podcast, but I'm not telling people to go kill themselves. I'm not going to cross that line. I'm going to talk about, you know, you may be, you know, giving some roadhead this weekend.
Well played. Well played.
I told you I was going to bring it up.
Jeez.
Title of the podcast, Roadhead.
You should say Roadhead, you know, hashtag the inspiration.
Great, I'll get hate mail. Actually,
good.
I'd love to have some hate mail. Go ahead and send me some hate mail. I have great comebacks for you if you do.
Fuck off, fatty. Really?
Damn, you stole my thunder.
But you had already said it before.
Yeah, but remember, nobody listens to this.
That's true.
We got a viewer on right now.
Yay!
Trevor always reminds me of the frog from Harry Potter.
I don't think it's Trevor.
It is
Trevor's our groupie.
Trevor
Speaking of Roadhead.
Neville Longbottom has a frog, and the name of that frog is Trevor. That's Harry Potter trivia right there.
Our friends we had dinner with tonight, their cat's name is Trevor. I'm not kidding. And they always talk about, well, you know, Trevor was climbing on the curtains, so I picture the Trevor I work with in their house climbing on the curtains.
That's awesome.
That is great.
Trevor should be like our mascot for the show.
He's the balded wonder.
He's the balded wonder.
He still has some hair.
Yeah, he's letting it grow back.
Yeah, even in the top of his head, I saw some, like, I almost made a joke, but I don't know him well enough. I'm like, way to go, dude. Keep the dream alive.
Well, he
never say never.
Usually he shaves it all, so it's just
like, you know, it's a little sparse, but you know, there's some progress there.
It's a little bit of something.
His head looks like my attempt to grow a beard.
I've never seen that. We should let that go for like a week so we can actually see what it looks like.
It'd just be all gray.
So it'll actually depress you.
Yeah. I'll look like Santa Claus.
Yeah. So before we talk about the U.S., because we are kind of soccer geeks, soccer nerds, whatever you want to call it, I do want to, put a plug for Colombia. Since the U.S. is out of the tournament, support Colombia. They're going to play Friday. Go root for them. Be excited. Hopefully they beat Brazil, and we can get a little further. I'm not going to say that they're going to get all the way to the finals because that's going to be very difficult, but I do hope that they at least beat Brazil. I think that would be a really cool match to watch, and I will be watching it and cheering on. That said, I'm going to let you talk about the U.S. team because it is your country. Well, our country. I'm American too. But the U.S. is really waking up to soccer. I'm impressed because even back in '94, America was not as excited as they are now for this World Cup, and the team did a fantastic job. Heartbreaking loss, but a fantastic job. I think the U.S. has now entered the world stage with soccer.
Well, we just thought that soccer was invented in 2010, so we're just now getting into it.
Well, where do I start? Well, I'm going to start with my conversation with my wife and oldest son today at dinner because we were talking about the teams that were still left in the World Cup, and we have decided that the teams we're going to root for are Colombia and Costa Rica.
Sweet.
So you can at least know that on Friday we will be cheering for your home country.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But
can we borrow Tim Howard?
Yeah, that would definitely come in handy, wouldn't it?
God, he's a stud.
He is amazing, and there is a reason why he is considered one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And I think he kind of put that on display. He has been incredible when he plays in the English Premier League for Everton, and as far as the U.S. is concerned, though, they had a fair showing. I'm not going to say it was a great showing. I'm not going to say. I won't even call it a good showing. They had a fair showing in this World Cup. They came away. They beat Ghana, which has been an obstacle for us for a while. They should have beaten Portugal, which would have, if they would have won that game, I would have bumped up the ratings that I'm giving them, or my. And the loss to Germany, Germany they were the best team in the group, so you can't really fault them too much for that loss. But the thing that frustrates me the most is the way they played. The way the U.S. played is just, it's unentertaining, it's frustrating, because they sit back and they play a defensive style, and they only do this in the World Cup. When they play in qualification, they don't play like this. When they play in friendlies, they don't play like this. But for some reason, when they get into the World Cup, they're afraid of losing, and they do not push until they absolutely have to. And
I disagree. I disagree because that was just the last match.
No,
you know what happened?
No, because they did that against Portugal too.
No,
they did it against Ghana. They scored in the first minute against Ghana, and then they did not try to score again until the game was tied 1-1 at the end.
Exactly, and that was going to be my point. The moment that they're down, the team comes alive, and they look like they belong in a World Cup. Before, when they're not behind, they look like a bunch of high school kids playing a professional team.
But that's my problem, because if you look at the best teams in the world, or hell, just look at the teams that are playing the best right now in the World Cup, like Colombia, they They defend when they need to defend, but as soon as they get the ball, they're attacking with a purpose. Like they are making passes to try to score a goal, and
You cannot blame the U.S. completely, though. I mean, well, we can blame 50% of it on their coach, because it's not the players that are making that decision of staying back. Partly is the coach and the formation that he's got. But you know what? If you look at those matches and you look at what the other teams are doing, every single body in the freaking German team was back. They were playing just as defensively. It almost didn't seem like anybody showed up to actually play soccer.
Yeah.
It was a really bad game until the end when you saw some flair. But out of obviously the Colombia teams are near and dear to my heart because obviously I was born there. But those last the extra time on that last U.S. game has been some of the funnest soccer I've seen in a long time.
But what frustrates me,
it was what makes soccer cool, like that urgency and that anxiety and that eventually the release.
Why did they have to wait to the last 15 minutes to do that?
I don't know. If the coach tells them that's the best way to do it, they kind of have to listen.
And I agree. And I agree that if the coach is telling them to do that, but it just frustrates me. If it's the coach, I want him gone. If it's the players, I want somebody to tell the players, quit being a bunch of pansies. Go out there and try to win a game, because you're the best defense in soccer is time of possession.
Mm-hmm.
If you hold on to the ball, the other team can't score. That's the way the game is built.
Look at what happened to Mexico. They played the game of their freaking life. They attacked. They had possession. I mean, it was an unbelievable game. And it just takes one goal and then one flop and a penalty kick for you to lose the.
But I would rather lose by trying to win the game than to lose by not trying to win the game. And in the Belgium game, in the last game for the U.S. did not try to win until they were losing.
I agree with you. I agree. And I think they should have had more confidence on Howard, because obviously he had to step up no matter what. Yeah. I would have much rather seen that they both had 18 freaking shots on goal.
Yeah.
Instead of the lopsided that we have. And you know what? They're showing that they don't have. Everybody's just talking about Landon didn't make the team or whatever.
Yeah, Landon wouldn't have made any difference.
Of course not, because he's old and he doesn't have the speed that he used to have, which is what made him,
Well, and
striker.
he's not a creative player. He wouldn't have done anything. The guy sits on the outside of the field and picks his nose half the game. Landon Donovan is not the best player in the U.S. Choices of players. He's just not. So.
No, I know, and I agree with you, but there are a lot of people that say, he's the top scorer ever for the U.S. He actually knew how to score goals, blah, blah, blah. And Dempsey looked horrible and tired in the last couple of games.
Oh, yeah, and Michael Bradley looked terrible in this entire World Cup, and I think Michael Bradley has a bright future ahead of him, but he looked terrible in this World Cup. He gave away possession way too easily. His passes, he had a couple really good passes, one of them being the only goal we scored against Belgium. He assisted that goal, and it was a beautiful pass. That guy can do that.
But that kid should have been in the game from the beginning.
Probably. But he is only 19 years old, and the U.S. thinks, we can't let 19-year-olds play the game.
Did you see what other 19-year-olds were doing in the World Cup, tearing people apart?
Oh, I know. Speed. Soccer has become a game of speed much more than it used to be, and a fast 19-year-old is going to change things. it's always been a game of skills.
You know, James Rodriguez is only 22, and you
Yeah.
saw what he did. He stopped that ball with his chest. It didn't even hit the ground,
Oh, yeah.
and he hit that post. That is a beautiful goal.
Absolutely.
That's my favorite goal in the World Cup so far.
I would agree with that one.
You
I
know,
would
and
agree.
Colombia actually doesn't have their biggest striker, which is actually Falcao. He's actually hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as the U.S. is concerned, I will say that the U.S. is better than what they were 4 years ago. And they're even better than what they were 8 years ago. But there's still a long ways to go before they're going to win in the first round of the knockout stage of the World Cup.
Yeah, I agree.
But I enjoy watching all the games.
I did. I think they did great. I enjoyed watching the U.S. play. I hope that people continue to watch the rest of the matches, because every single match that is coming up is actually an exciting match. The only one that I don't really care about who wins is France versus Germany. But you know, I want to see the Argentina game. I want to see all the other games that are left.
Well, and I hope that I really want to see the game that I'm most excited for, other than the Brazil-Colombia game, because that's just going to be a hell of a knockout, drag-out fight between two really good teams, is the Netherlands-Costa Rica game.
I know.
And
awesome.
I'm afraid it's going to be a blowout, and that the Netherlands are just going to crush Costa Rica. But Costa Rica is
so, dude. They're
Costa
young.
Rica, man, they're from our group. You know, they're from our qualification area,
right?
CONCACAF. So, you know, I like that, and I hope that that team can really do some good.
I hope so too. They're a young team. They're a hungry team, and don't get me wrong. The Netherlands are an impressive team, and they've done some good things. But I hope that Costa Rica just goes toe to toe and actually outscores them, because it's going to be a high scoring match for sure.
Well, I'd be curious to see how Netherlands deals with the Costa Rican defense, because they play a high defensive line, and they play a nice offside trap that seems to just frustrate everyone they play against. So I'd be curious to see how that works out.
I was so happy
going against it.
I was so happy to see so many different formations and so many different ways to approach. It's not like, you know, everybody didn't go for a 4-3-3. I'm very happy with this World Cup. This is by far probably my favorite World Cup that I've ever seen.
I will agree with that.
It's just been interesting, and we probably put Kip to sleep.
I don't even know what you said.
we started using words like formation and skills and sports,
offside trap.
All right, dude, bring it back to geekness. I know you have something exciting to say. I want you to be the one that says it.
Come on,
got my email today. They are shipping Tricked Out Hero. I'm very excited. Woo! Should get my copy probably next week. If you're listening, guys, I want my copy.
I saw the box. I saw the boxes in his car, so it should be coming our way. Yeah. And it's actually pretty exciting to me that, you know, that we're gonna get something that we actually interacted with the makers of the game. That's pretty cool. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I'm hoping I can get some gaming in next week, get to enjoy it a little bit next week, and find some people to play it.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Well, yeah, because you're gonna have a new workplace where you can recruit other nerds and gamers.
I'm gonna have to find a new group, a new gaming group for lunchtime at work. So
I know, either that or we can identify a place that lets us come together and play board games.
I'm sure there's a few bars we could go to.
Yeah, not Tanner's. I don't know why you guys like that place. Ugh.
Nobody goes to
Tanner's. Shittiest food ever.
Nobody goes to Tanner's for the food.
We can go to Barley's.
Yeah, Bartley's is a good choice, but I mean, tennis is disgusting. It's like, have you guys had the vegetables there?
You don't eat vegetables at a bar.
Vegetables.
What are you doing?
Well, their fries are shitty. I had to try something different.
Get tater tots.
The vegetables were, yeah. You know, there's something with tater tots. You know, the only way that tater tots are really good is if you make them at home and you actually bake them. Otherwise, they always taste like whatever the restaurant, freaking cooks in that bad. It's just disgusting. Tater tots are not a good food. Unless you make them at home, tater tots are disgusting as well.
All right, I think we need to get back on topic here.
That was topic.
Because I'm going to start throwing punches here.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I love tater tots. Tater tots are they're way better than French fries.
All right, hold on. I'll throw the gauntlet right now. Everything in Sonic tastes like their friggin' tater tots. It's like eating cardboard. Everything tastes the same, just like their tater tots.
You think you're judging this on Sonic?
I'm judging this on tater tots all over the friggin' world.
And they all taste like Sonic.
I enjoy tater tots. I like tater tots because they end up being crispy on the outside and soft in the middle. And that's the way they should be. And French fries, when they're like that, they just taste like ass. So...
How do you know what ass tastes like?
I'm assuming.
You see, I think that he is going camping this weekend and getting some tasting in.
Ding, 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 ding,
going camping this weekend.
He has a purry mouth.
Squeal like a pig, son.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah, we just lost a listener or two.
Probably. They probably don't understand the movie reference.
I'm pretty sure everybody understands Deliverance.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I've never watched it and I understand that reference.
Well, you're talking about people you should feel uncomfortable, watch that.
That's true. Let's get to my topic so we can start closing this thing. So there is an article currently in The Atlantic. You can go to our Facebook and there's a link to it right now that says that your cats are making you crazy. And at first it sounds like a pretty stupid idea, but then you start reading and it starts making a lot more sense the more you're reading through the article. So I'm going to summarize some of it. So basically what the scientist is trying to do is kind of link some schizophrenia back to cats. Toxoplasmosis is like this little asshole that actually gets into your brain and it can actually fuck with your neurons and shit. It's fucked up. Like, the article is really scary because your cat is actually making you crazy. Like, your cat can actually that's a little... that's just, people trying to sell newspapers, I guess. But, the reality is that most cats in the U.S. are inside cats, and so as long as they don't go outside, it's actually a really low chance that they can get toxoplasmosis or whatever. But if they do, you can potentially, if you're sensitive or whatever, you can potentially become a schizophrenic thanks to your cat. How do you like them apples?
It's another reason not to have cats. There's nothing good about a cat.
You know what? I used to not agree with you after reading this article. I'm scared. I don't want to have cats anymore.
There's nothing. I mean, cats don't do anything.
They don't. And now they can potentially be... So, okay, so let me scare you a little bit more so you can actually read the article. So,
I've read
one of the things, that our listeners might not have, and one of the things is that, the tapeworm, Dawkins in his book talks about the tapeworm. And what the tapeworm does is it gets, it actually uses ants. And they connect to the brain of the ant and make the ant, raise its temperature so that the ant, it basically breaks their way to tell temperature, because when they get hot, they go underground. When they get cold, they go up. So they use this to manipulate them so that they go up to like the tallest blade of grass that they can go to, and then they use their little pincers to like attach them to the blade of grass so that they just sit there until a cow comes by or some animal and just eats the grass, and it actually ends up the tapeworm goes into the the stomach of the cow, and then that's his reproducing thing and everything else. So this is actually something that we've known about and it's interesting. So there is this this thing inside of cats that has kind of similarities, and they've been studying it on mice, because mice with the toxoplasmosis actually are attracted to cat pee and don't react to like predators the way that other animals would. So it's really freaking scary. It's like these things are making it so you're so you do stupid shit. So it sounds like science fiction, but they're actually like doing the study, and other scientists, it's not just this dude that is coming up with this theory that sounds a little hokey. Other scientists are actually finding out that there is some merit to this to this research, and there might be a link between freaking cats and mental health.
All right, now when I do stupid shit, I can say, sorry, I own cats.
I know, and that was kind of like the end of the friggin' article that, way to go, humans. We always find things to freaking blame.
So, is this going to be the next plea in court cases?
Maybe. I don't think it's going to get there just yet, but
our cats aren't using that. They're using advanced techniques like sleep deprivation. That's what's making me crazy.
That's right. Your cats are trying to kill you. Just the old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way. Well, this morning they woke me up at 5 just yowling. It's like, what the fuck? It's because there was another cat in the yard.
I want you to make that sound for us. Can't believe he actually went for it.
You know what? So one of these days I'm going to make a soundboard. I'm going to run a soundboard on here so we can record these things.
Like John's yawling.
Yeah, then we can just start throwing this in at random times.
Hell yeah!
I just want to point out here that we have now come up with, like 4 or 5 additional reasons not to own a cat. Again, why do people have cats? What purpose do they serve in this world?
I used to argue with you because, they were like the cool pet that you didn't have to pay attention to. But you know what? Any animal that shits and pees inside of your house should not be an animal. That you
Probably a bad idea.
Probably a bad idea.
And especially now that you can get this parasite from their feces that they're rubbing on your pillow when they go walking across your bed.
I know. That motherfucking cat is always putting his ass right on my pillow.
Yeah, so I'm just saying.
Because he loves you.
Right. That's why I gotta wake up to the starfish on my face.
Oh, we really went there.
We didn't.
He went there. Way to go.
Did.
I did.
Well, shit happens. Sometimes in your pillow. That's how you get pink eye.
Yeah, I don't have anything on that. I read that article, and I mean it was pretty interesting. I will say that the article is interesting. It's an interesting read, just because it's it's a little sci-fi. It's a little UFO type feel to it, but I mean he makes valid points, and I can't really argue with it. So I'm gonna go with he's probably right. And the picture.
Scary.
The picture of him, everyone should at least click on the link just to look at the picture of the guy. Because that just says it right there that, of course, the guy's freaking nuts to begin with.
Wow!
He looks like He looks like Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
He does, but with red hair.
He does, yeah. He's got quite the chin.
Yeah.
I really, that's what we come up with, guys.
Well, I have cats.
We're shallow.
Can you take it to porn?
Yeah. No.
I'm pretty sure he can.
He's thinking about it. Either that or he froze. I'm not one of the two.
I didn't hear what you guys said.
He wants you to try to take this conversation to porn.
I can take any conversation to porn.
We should make a soundbite of that laugh. It was like a slow, like build up, like.
Well, it was because I had like 50 comments that came to my head at the same time, and I couldn't pick one.
Oh, man.
Creepy old dude porn.
I don't even want to know. Hey, I'm going to bring up video games since this, you had made the comment that you're a video game guy and the fact that you have a Xbox 360 and you're no longer playing WoW as much.
Bring it on.
GameSpot put a article up yesterday about not to give up on your Xbox 360 or your PlayStation 3, and that there's all this good stuff out there still for it. More stuff's coming. They bring up the free games that are coming out for Xbox Gold, or what is it, Games with Gold on Xbox Live, and the PlayStation.
Oh, by the way, I did play that free game that you told me about, John. And
Dark Souls?
Yes, one playthrough, and it is interesting, it is fun, but it doesn't hold a candle to WoW.
Well, I didn't say it did.
I'm just saying, if you like that game, you would love WoW.
I would like WoW if I could play it on my Xbox 360. I do not do well in games on the PC. I do not have keyboard dexterity.
You'd be surprised. However, Dota has been pushed my way, and I might actually give it a try. But yeah, that article, I actually saw it too, so I do want to hear more about it, sir.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
They bring up they use kind of these three topics that I kind of agree with. They have the free games that are coming out, the games for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. You can get used copies a lot cheaper now since the next-gen consoles. But the thing that scared me the most, not even really scared, but just kind of bugged me, is they gave out a list of all these new games that are coming out for PlayStation 3 and the 360. And I went through that list of games, and I found one that I wanted. Well, let me rephrase that. I found two. One game that is a
Dance Dance Revolution.
No, it's the Fable game, The Wolf Among Us, and it's the last chapter of it that comes out at the end of this year. That's not enough. The other game is Destiny, and that game it's coming out on the 360, but it's going to look way better on next-gen consoles. So just because it's coming out for 360, I don't know that if that game was the game I was looking for, I'm not going to buy it for a 360. I'd rather go spend the money on a new console and get what it was made for. There are really not that many games coming out here for this current generation of games, or I guess maybe we call this last generation of games or consoles. And I'm actually wondering how long these things are going to be supported. I mean, the game library that's going to keep coming out for the 360 and the PlayStation 3, if this year, the rest of 2014 and the first part of 2015 are any signs, there isn't going to be much there, and I might have to buy a new console.
So here's my argument to that. a lot of the games that we see now are downgraded to fit current consoles. Like with the
Yeah.
PC, you can actually unbind some of those games and actually play them on like maximum, outrageous graphics or whatever. So the hardware limitations can always be pared down, and I think it would be stupid for game companies to not release the games on older hardware if it can be supported, because that's just your install base is just there.
No, yeah. I
So I
agree.
think there'll be support for a lot longer than you think.
Well, but if you're still putting out shitty games, it's like that's the thing. I'm not seeing any games in here that are coming out that I'm like, yes,
Not
that's the
FIFA
game I want to
15.
get. Huh?
Not FIFA 15.
No, I don't really want FIFA 15.
Which
I mean-
FIFA do you play?
Well, right now I've got FIFA
FIFA Las Vegas.
13. I think I have
We should
13.
create a poll on the Geek Vice page and see what version of FIFA do people have. I might pick up one used.
I've got FIFA 13. I might get FIFA 15 if there's nothing else out there and I'm just looking for something to bide the time. But the sports games I have a problem with buying every year. I don't think they should do that, but people spend their money on them, so nobody listens to me. But I don't know.
We listen to you, man. We care.
But I was really disappointed with the list of games that are coming out, and I know that there's games coming out for Xbox One that I want to get, like the new Assassin's Creed game, But
Yeah, I don't see it
how
listed
big-
on here.
How big do you think Assassin's Creed as a franchise is? Do you think that's the biggest franchise right now?
I would say it probably, yeah. I don't know that it would be the biggest franchise, but it would rival the Call of Duties, I would think.
The reason that I say that is because that seems to be the only game where the continuity of the stories. So they're telling good stories with each one of the games. That's
Yeah.
what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think they're telling really good stories, and they're telling interesting stories. And the part that I like about them the most is the mix of historical stuff that I know about with this make-believe story that they're throwing in there. And it actually, to me, at times it actually feels like they're not making up a story, that they're like the stuff they're talking about could actually be there. This idea of a Templar group and this assassin group going against each other for basically world domination. It's the way they've weaved it in with actual historic events. I think it's been I enjoy the storytelling. I don't play the multiplayer in it. I know a lot of people that do, but
Because you don't like people.
I don't like people.
Yeah, we've come to the conclusion that I like playing with MMOs. Kip is ambivalent and he'll play with the Call of Duty crowd, but you just don't want to play with anybody.
I will play when I know exactly who I'm playing with. Because FIFA, actually, the reason I bought FIFA 13 was to play online with a few of my friends who had an online club, and so I enjoyed. Huh?
How often do you play it now?
I don't play it much now at all because the guys that have it all have Xbox Ones. So
they left you behind.
well,
Fuckers.
they're people with a lot more disposable income than I've got. So
Oh, I see.
For a couple more
So
weeks
we're your
anyway.
poor friends? You have rich friends?
no, these are friends that are just either bachelors or they just don't have any. They don't have the expenses that we acquired.
You mean like kids?
Mhm. I guess I'm really the only one that fits into that category here.
Kids, porn habit, whatever.
Oh
Is-
man, your wife is
that
not gonna
why-
let you sleep in the bedroom.
Is that why
today.
you're broke, there, Kip?
That's one of the reasons.
No shit. I didn't even know you had a porn collection.
I didn't either. I just now finding out myself.
Wow. I don't even know where to go with this.
Hey, remember we were talking about you know, what was the meme challenge? I think I'm gonna win the meme challenge
Me more.
right now. I'm gonna win it right now. I think I'm gonna post something that is scary and effed up at the same time.
Where are you putting it?
On the Geek Vice.
On the Geek Vice.
On the Geek Vice Facebook page.
In it too.
All
you put
over
the
its
guy's
face.
You guys should go watch it while we close the show.
Oh, jeez. Is that what? Oh, it's a cat video. What the hell?
And that's where you win. All right. Any last thoughts, Mr. Kip?
No. I pretty much burnt all of my bridges.
What about you, Morph?
No, I got nothing.
God, you guys are so helpful. Check out
Other
our
than-
blog. Oh, go ahead.
Why did you put this cat video on here? What the hell is going? I'm done already. Done. I made it 10 seconds.
Check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Follow us on Twitter at GeekVice, Google Plus GeekVice, and Facebook. Go check out the creepy cat video. Just like our page, GeekVice.
It's
You can
funny as hell.
You can follow Kip on Twitter at Kip Keelagan. You can follow me at Luctor. And Morph continues to be completely worthless because he hasn't joined Twitter yet, so he cannot fight with Adam Richman about that whatever it is that he's hating now. Thanks everybody for listening to our ramblings. If you want to comment on anything we talked about today or send us hate mail, Kip will love it. geekvice@gmail.com. With that, I close the show and I say...
See ya.
Later.